So again, let me start again. My name is Shishir Miglani, and I run accelerators recognized by state government, Uttar Pradesh, and central government, wherein we promote various kind of entrepreneurship among Tier B and Tier C cities. The idea is to bring the rural transformation and Tier B transformation on startup scale. So we were India's UP's first accelerator to be launched in Noida. Then we started first rural accelerator in Gorakhpur, the city of UPCM himself. We have recently launched a transgender and women-focused accelerator in Noida, where we help these communities and marginalized genders to come up strongly with their innovative ideas and become the part of the mainstream. We also run an agri-tech exchange called AgriShala, which ensures that even the small players and small farmers get to access the technologies which are which are costlier but can do wonders for their output and outcome. So this is what we do essentially in partnership with entrepreneurs in Tier B and Tier C cities, whose ideas and whose acumen to solve problems we bring into the forefront. So essentially, we are in Assam, Uttar Pradesh, 2 locations. We are in Delhi, NCR, of course, we are covering. And then we are in state of Uttarakhand, wherein we work with PhD CCI to run a virtual business incubator. This is just a brief intro about us. We assist startups beyond an incubation stage to help take the next leap into the ecosystem by providing them mentorship, by providing them funding, and by providing them access to grants. Now, coming back to our core topic, the focus, the lean startup. How many of you have heard this term called lean startup? A raise of hand would be good enough.
Yeah. Kind of scientific approach. It's a scientific approach for management of startups, rather we can say.
Yes, it's a good way to put that thing. Any other ideas?
You may please proceed, sir.
Okay, so let me just put this thing into perspective. The lean startup is the concept which minimizes the waste of resources. Now, when I say waste of resource, it means time, it means money, of course, because everything will require money to develop, to be created. So the biggest challenge for startups today is when they're starting, to what level they should start their convert their business idea into reality, so that they do not end up spending a lot of money before realizing that this idea will not work or this particular aspect will not work. How many times ऐसा हमारे साथ होता है और we feel at times that okay, have we not taken this particular step, we might have saved some amount of money or saved our time doing that thing repetitively. I'm sure ये काफी लोगों के साथ होता होगा, and most of the time we iterate and we do things to correct our previous mistakes is a loss of resource. To save this loss of time of an entrepreneur and of course the money of an entrepreneur, this concept was created, and this word was coined by none else than Eric Ries himself. Eric Ries is the founder of IIM-MAU, if you are not aware of it. And if you haven't read his book, The Lean Startup, you should go through this book. It's a wonderful book, and it wonderfully covers with a lot of examples and context around the lean startup. So the lean startup is essentially an idea which allows us to work on a framework that will help us save our time and money. How it will save time and money is this idea and is this framework. How it works? It works on the concept of learning, knowing what exactly to build, and then taking that build to the customer before investing more time and money in it. You bring to the table whatever we require to eat or whatever we require to, whatever we like, and then seek our feedback. See these things are being liked by the customer, and then generate the next level of value addition for them. So that way you develop whatever is required without investing your time in a resource or without investing your time into something that is not required by the customer or that do not get the positive feedback as such. Now this concept works both for startups as well as on our personal life as well. So this framework is monotonous, but this is very widely used in terms of business idea validation, in terms of ensuring that you have a minimum viable product ready for your business before you take the plunge of investing more time and more money onto your business idea as such. Okay. Now, essentially, lean startup framework consists of 5 important ingredients, like finding and prioritizing the market opportunities. Let's assume somebody is in, you are in your city, let's make it very simple, and you see a problem somewhere around, and you think, okay, this problem can be solved with this idea. Okay, but then the problem can be solved with more than one ways. Like idea number one could be, let's say, the waste problem. Okay, the idea number one would be putting up the waste bins. The idea number two would be asking somebody to collect it. The idea number third could be putting up an automated robots to do that. Idea number fourth would be collecting it right at the home and segregating it so that there is not much of the waste to be collected and invested time into. So one problem, waste, but there could be many ideas, but you cannot run all the ideas simultaneously to figure it out. It costs us money and it costs us time. So whenever you find an opportunity, a problem to solve, you figure out a solution and you prioritize which solution is more optimal to work in your understanding. Okay. Then once you have defined that out of these 5 solutions, I'm going to work with problem solution number 2. Let's have somebody collect those waste, okay, which has been the part of our life for ages. There are people who collect waste and take it to the segregation station, and then that gets converted into power or whatnot. Okay. So once you have defined that opportunity, you design various business models to understand how this solution and how this opportunity will work for you. Okay. When I say how this opportunity will work for you is that where exactly you would put that dustbins, where is these people are going to go and collect the trash, how would you measure if they have collected the trash, who will get benefit, and then ultimately who's going to make the payments. Because any work or any solution, if it is without the monetary implementation or it is without the monetary concern, then it is of no good. You cannot sustain a business model without a money generation activity for long as such. Even if the social impacts, they also need money to run. So your business idea should always be focused on money generation thing. And for that framework, there are so many tools which are there, like business model canvas, which we will talk briefly subsequently. So these tools are called designing business models, which will help you understand what exactly do you need to run that business, to run that idea into a successful business as such. Point number 3 being validating your learning. When I say validating your learning means, whenever you think of an idea, you do not just go and start creating it. Like let's say, let's take an idea. I see people hungry. I would just not start preparing the food and just start taking it to the customer. I'll have to plan for it. So this plan would require research. How many people are hungry? Let's say restaurant business. How many people will come to my restaurant every day? How many seats would I have? What is the minimum seat which I need to require? What kind of food should I keep so that I stand separate and I stand allowed and people will throng my restaurant? So all those things are done using research systems, some sort of customer interaction, or some sort of research activity by you in your locality or in the place where you are setting up this restaurant business. And that helps you validate your learning that, okay, if I have 5 waste collecting agents, these will cover this area for me. If I have this restaurant here as a pure veg, this will help the community because most of the people live here are vegetarians than non-vegetarians, and then building the minimum viable product. Okay. So I do not call it minimum viable product. I have changed the name and I call it minimum wow product. Nowadays, there is immense competition, immense information. You already know the stats. So many startups are being created. So many startups are coming into the fray. And most of them are, probably some of them would be working in the similar area of yours. So they are competing not just with the world, but amongst the startups as well. So what is the minimum wow product that you need to come up with that will bring in the attention of the world, the attention of the customer, which is of utmost importance. So in older times, the definition was minimum viable product. That means even if it's a technological product, you bring it faster into the market, even if it is with bugs, even if it is with little bit of errors, and you take the feedback and then make a better platform. So this concept was created for mostly around the process driven activities and everything, but this works essentially with any kind of a solution. Okay, but now going into the market with bugs probably will kill you faster than anything else. So you'll have to come up with a beautiful product, beautiful software, beautiful restaurant to start with, so that people would have some sort of an experience using that product or using that service. Henceforth, I term this as building minimum wow product, or MVPs as the world say. Okay. Then you go back again. Now you have created the product, you have taken to the customer, and customer has given you feedback. Some would say, wow, amazing product. Okay, these people are working exceptionally well, collecting waste on time and everything. But there would be some people who would say they collect waste very late. By the time we start working for the offices, I still see the waste. And it is not a good site to start with the waste. So you collect all these feedbacks, review system, and then implement it again in your solution. How you can better it. That's what entrepreneurs do. They every time take the feedback and make their business models even better and even successful. So feedback and learning mechanism is what creates the fifth and iterative learning, which you will keep on implementing into your business model. So these 5 points essentially are the framework, the lean startup framework as we call it, that essentially goes with any business model which you can think of. Of course, the point B, business models, there are many. You can use several business models, but the most famous and most promising business model is business model canvas, which is being used to create and understand what business you are into. It also helps you understand if your business is fundamentally correct or wrong. And if I'm not wrong, even an Indian has created a business model which is for the ideation stage startups. And I think that would be a very good business model to work on. That teacher, she's from NIFD, National Institute of Fashion Design, and she has created a very specific Indianized business model. Maybe whenever you probably would have a next session of designing business model canvas or something, I can introduce you, and you can undertake these sessions as well with her. So these work in the very Indianized concept and on a very ideation stage, so that you do not have to spend, you have to spend as less money as possible before you actually decide whether you are ready for that business or not. Like हम सभी सोचते हैं airline खोल देंगे, हम सभी सोचते हैं we can create a bigger manufacturing unit, but we just don't start it like really big. You start small, then you make it bigger, bigger, bigger. Unless you are Tata's and Ambani's, that's a different model because they have already have a learning experiences. For startups, this framework essentially is the ground rule, which you should always start with. You move away from this, chances are you'll spend a couple of years of your life. Chances are you'll spend lakhs of money of yours in trying it out, which you would have known on a piece of paper that this is not going to work. Okay, so I hope I'm clear till here. Any questions?
Sir, you can proceed further, please.
Okay. So the same 5 points are represented graphically here. This is how every business thing works. Whether the business is viable or not, whether the business is feasible or not, what are the desirable outcomes customer wants. But ultimately, this small section, the center part, you see the innovation, the continuous innovation framework. This is where innovation and ideas and feedback will kick in, and this is what will define whether your business will become successful or not. Because these external parameters are same for anyone who is into the business as yours. Your competition have this information, but this small triangular information is something which you will get using lean business model framework and iterating your business ideas time and again, time and again, time and again. So more you iterate, the more you go back to the customer, the faster you will learn and faster you can innovate and make your ideas successful into the market, beating the competition, beating the present solutions as such. And that's where your success will be defined as such. So the same 5 points has been expressed graphically here. And if you are not if you need any clarity or any answer, we can talk back in the last minutes of question and answers. Okay. Now, again, because you guys are doing an ideation stage thing or incubation stage thing, I've tried to create this entire workflow into a very simplistic approach where you can understand how it is working. Consider this as you as an entrepreneur who is working to create something. Create could be a product, shirt banani hai, clothes banane hai, naya glass banana hai, new type of a bottle, new type of innovation, rocket engine banana hai, whatever. Creation, you create the product out of it. You deliver the first product to the customer. You take the feedback. If the feedback is good, you get money. If the feedback is not good, you go back and correct and again create. So this is a continuous business cycle of creation and of making money without investing your resources and time outright. Like without doing, without taking the leap of faith, you can work on a very systematic stair level, step by step, and understand your business better before you actually scale it up to the next level. Like you have tested it in one city, then you want to scale it up for 10 cities. Once the lean business model framework has said yes, everything is in order, you can immediately scale it up to the 10 cities thing without facing a fear of failure, without having a higher risk of fear of failure, I should say. Okay, so now we lean business model essentially works on lean business framework essentially works on various kind of business models in which you can define your business or discuss your business per se. So the most commonly used framework is business model canvas. I hope you guys have heard about it. Have we done any workshops in the past on business model canvas, ma'am?
We had from Shiva Sharma itself.
Okay,
we have
cool.
got it done.
So because business model canvas in itself requires a comprehensive and unique time, I will not spend much time here as such with you guys, but I just want you to see once again how you can define your businesses in a piece of paper while understanding whether the business will work or not. This small sheet, if you are able to fill it up successfully with your business ideas and concept, it will mean that you have think through on your business. You understand how it works. You understand how you'll make money. You understand what value you will provide to the customer by executing this business. So essentially, it covers the problem statement, the problem you face, or the problem you're solving, the solution you're offering. Key metrics is the measurement metrics. Basically, how will you measure your solution, the success of your solution? Like if you're having a software, then it can save, let's say, 2 hours every day of an employee doing a feedback management system. So you are saving 2 hours of your company per employee every month. That's a big saving for a company, and that's why they will pay you to save those 2 hours. Okay. Unique value proposition, again, similar. Key metrics will define that this is with this software or with this product. Like if it's a physical product, shirt, you would look smarter. You'll not feel any sweat. It will dry very fast. Those are unique value propositions of a product of a physical nature, like shirt. But for a product like softwares, it could be different. Like with the servers, clouds, you can scale up very fast. That's a unique proposition for cloud servers, cloud solutions. And for SaaS-based softwares, unique proposition is it's a very well integrated single dashboard thing. That's a value addition thing, and so on and so forth. So you'll have to look into your business and put those things into this canvas with various heads like unfair advantage. If you have any IPR, if you have any trademark protection idea, if you have something unique which is registered and no one can copy it, that's an amazing thing. Then your business has higher chances of succeeding into the market. What customer segments you deal with, which type of customers, what age group you work with, what gender you work with, and accordingly you can define how to take your products to them through the distribution channel here as such. Again, then the money part, what is your cost and what is the revenue? If revenues are higher than the cost, of course you make profits. If revenues are not higher than the cost, then you're making loss and you'll have to go back somewhere, figure out your pricing strategy, figure out your distribution thing, and something. But the business model canvas is essentially one tool which will help you frame their entire business concept on single piece of paper and help you understand in one snapshot where you are fundamentally right or wrong. Okay, then simplifying it again for the repetition part of it. You think of an idea, you build the minimum wow product, you code it, you take it to the customer, measure the feedback, get back with the feedback, learn from that feedback if you'll have to iterate to something better, if you'll have to do some different thing, or you can just modify the same product to make it more suitable, and then again bring that to the idea level and iterate. So the moment this is perfectly done, you are ready with your minimum wow product. Until it is perfectly done, it is your minimum viable product. If there are feedbacks, if there are errors, it is minimum viable product. But if it is perfectly running and sync, it's a minimum wow product for you, which is ready. And then you are ready to take it to the scale up stage, grow big, maybe to one city, to 10 city, to 100 cities and everything. So I've given the PPT, I've given this business model canvas sample sheet just for it so that you guys can practice and put your business value propositions again here. You can download this again from the internet as well. It's very easily available. It is most widely used business model canvassing tool as well. Okay, and I think this will help you understand that it will help you understand how to minimize the waste of resource while starting with a minimum viable product for your business. And there is a very good example. In fact, I've been talking a lot about the founder and his concept, but you know what happened, how he used this business model canvas. I'm not sure how many of you are aware of a game called The Second Life or a game called IMView, which are 3D avatar-based games. They started some decade and a half back, and Eric Ries was the founder of IMView, where he started this lean model canvas. So in that 3D game, it's like metaverse, older version of metaverse, where a lot of people were going with an avatar thing and they were walking around. So Second Life guys spent millions of dollars creating an algorithm which will help one person to move from one spot to second spot. You know, within the virtual world, if he has to move and there are several obstacles, he would recognize them, he will change the path, and he will move along to reach to the destination point. So they spent millions of dollars creating that one small system of ensuring that one model can walk in that virtual world to one from one position to another. Now, Eric Ries started at that time his startup. He didn't have that kind of a money. He didn't raise that kind of a money at that time. And he said, why do I have to spend millions? You know, the problem is what? Taking user from one point to another point. So instead of spending millions in creating this, he created a simplest teleportation device where you can simply click to the point B and your avatar will vanish from here and reach to point B, and thus saving millions of rupees for millions of dollars rather to create a small algorithm. So you see how by adapting an innovative technique and by changing the way and his approach, he can offer the same solution to the user by spending less, by securing the safeguard of resources, which in this case was money and time of development. Like Second Life really took 6 months to create those algorithms to make an avatar move from one place to another. So that's how startups need to think of saving money by using innovation, bringing in innovation. The more money you save, the better the profit it is. And I've given you a sample business model canvas for Uber London drivers, just in case to refer back and see and match it up with your business idea concepts as such. So essentially, I'll come back here again. Lean business model framework comprises of 5 parts, but essentially it allows you to be innovative at the barest minimum of cost. Any resource that gets wasted is of absolutely waste to the to the customer and to the company as such, and may end up making your company unviable. You see a lot of startups, once they raise money, they start spending too much in advertisement cost, blah blah blah, but then they lose focus from their own innovation, what exactly the customer needs, and that results in the failure despite them raising millions of dollars of rupees. And there are so many case studies onto that. You can refer back to them. So the idea of you mastering the lean business model framework is to be innovative in this smallest of the quadrant and keep iterating on your business solutions so that they become better and better and better. So I have completed my quick presentation around lean business framework, and I'm open to any questions from you guys if you want to raise anyone.
Thank you, sir.